Mandava sir, kindly,
Yeah, good evening.
kindly.
Good evening, sir.
Sir.
Good evening.
Coordinators kindly pin Mandava Sunil Kumar sir also the him also. And Manoharan sir also. Pin both of them.
Sir, good evening.
Good evening.
Ma'am, can we start?
Yes, sir. Shanta Durga.
Yes, ma'am. Hello, everybody. A very warm good evening to one and all present here. This is Shanta taking the pleasure of inviting you all today. I'm extremely happy to host this event with the support of my team and respected Dean ma'am and Chairman sir. I would like to take the privilege of introducing Mr. C.A. T.N. Manoharan sir, the chief guest of the event. He is a former president of ICI and ex-chairman of Canara Bank, the fourth largest public sector bank in India. Sir has served as chairman of Committee of Accounting Standards and Taxation of Confederation of Indian Industry CII, and he was member of various committees constituted by CVC, RBI, SEBI, and CNAG, etc. We are happy to have you here, sir. I would like to have you welcome the meeting, sir. Sir, please.
Yeah, thank you. Is there any other formality or can I go ahead?
Please go ahead, sir.
Okay.
Chairman will speak. Chairman SICASA will speak a few words.
Yeah, please.
Thank you, my team. We are doing well connected activities related to youngsters I thank my whole team for doing a wonderful activity during this year. We are expecting a All India first this year also in continuation with the last 2 years. Sir, first of all, I would like to thank you for accepting on a simple message from my end. Thank you very much, sir, to address such wonderful gathering today. Thank you very much, sir. And over to you.
Yeah. Thank you. I take pleasure in joining this event organized by the SICASA of SARC of ICI in collaboration with SICASA limbs of 11 branches. Mangalore, Trivandrum, Coimbatore, Vijayawada, Hyderabad, Salem, Thrissur, Trichy, Madurai, Bangalore, Kumbakonam. And I must compliment the chairperson of the SARC of ICI, CAB Geeta, and also Mandava Sunil Kumar, chairperson of SICASA, and CAR Vijayalakshmi, consultant dean SARC of ICI, and to all the beloved students who have made this possible. It's an innovative topic, unique topic, I would say, where the theme is, or rather the topic is turning the tables, reviving failed ventures. And so it talks about reimagine, revive, redefine success. Actually, failure is success deferred. That is one dimension which we must always keep in mind. Failure doesn't mean success will never be achieved. It only says success is postponed. It's deferred. But how to, in India, this topic becomes significant importance because India is emerged as the third largest ecosystem for startups. See, startups are the order of the day, where youth, instead of job seekers, have become job providers. They have come out with novel ideas, innovative ideas, creative ideas, which get incubated and then they get implemented. And both in product or service related startups are very common these days, and many of them in IT sector as well. So in all these cases, and India can boast of 114 unicorns in the startup ecosystem. Startup, when it reaches the valuation of $1 billion US, it is known as a unicorn. So we have 114 unicorns. Many failures could also be there, but among the successful ones, there are 114 unicorns. And in the if you look at how long it has taken some of the startups to become unicorn in the olden times, a few decades ago, it has taken a decade or so. But there are unicorns where in a matter of 3-4 years, they have become, from scratch to unicorn status, they have achieved. So that is the possibility and potential environment that is being created in India. Now, when it comes to turning the tables, reviving the failed ventures, the most, my personal experience has been with the Satyam Computers, which was also a collapsing company, a company which was described as sinking ship because of the certain fraudulent practices, financial statement related frauds. So because of that, it looked as though the company was crumbling like pack of cards. 53,000 employees, jobs were at stake. 600 plus customers, global customers, were not sure whether the service delivery will continue. And monthly salary bill of employees was 500 crores, but there was no money in the bank account. So all these uncertainties engulfing a corporate entity are clear symptoms of the company going down the drain. Then how it was turned around, how it was revived. I'm given to understand from the program and all, you have given topics to the students, divided them into groups, group discussions happened, all those things, which is commendable. That's the right way to do it. So therefore, as a thought process for assimilation, you can also absorb the one live model which I'm sharing with you as my experience. What we did was we identified the top 3 priorities that needs to be addressed for revival, for turning the tables in Satyam's case. The first one was financial stability, because like for a corporate which is in a failing mode, it is like a patient in the intensive care unit, ICU, desperate to even breathe normally. And for Satyam, that is any failing entity, finance is like the oxygen. If the oxygen supply is not there, then the patient can collapse. So therefore, that was the first priority we identified, financial stability. The second priority was, human resource contribution. The entire business can get derailed if the employees get disassociated with the revival process. If they disconnect with the mission of revamping the company, reviving the company. And for that, they need to be motivated. They need to be regenerated. They need to, revive the sense of belongingness. And they should also take it dear to their heart as a matter of gratitude to give back to the company when it needs the most. So, human resources. Then the third point was customer patronization. Because without customers, what is that you are going to revive? What is that you are going to turn around? Whatever you do, if the customers don't patronize and they terminate the contracts, they turn a blind eye in restoring the business, then nothing can be done. So on all these three parameters, we started working. And of course, we made a stopgap financial arrangement with two of the public sector banks, and so that there is no default from us on any payment due, including the PF, ESI, salaries, vendor payments. Of course, we always statutory dues. We used our discretion and ability to negotiate, get installments, all those things. But nevertheless, nothing should be considered as a default, because that will damage the reputation of the board, reputation of the management, reputation of the company itself, which is already tainted. So from that perspective, we could do that. And the first month's salary was successfully remitted across the globe. The moment that was done, there was a restoration of faith and confidence among the employees and the business environment ecosystem, because that was the test, whether it is a signal being sent that the management, the new administration, is capable of ensuring that there is no default on remittance of salary. In fact, many employees came forward and said, we are willing to forego the salary or waive variable pay. We said, nothing doing. We will pay everything without 1 rupee default, but you give your best. Then when it came to human resources, what was important was the premium talent, which were executing, projects of great sensitivity and magnitude. They wanted to resign and go. This is what happens when business fails. The birds which have been flocking around want to migrate, to shift, to resign and go. So in that scenario, all that we did was we motivated them. We invoked the sense of gratitude in them. We said, government nominated board, we are all strangers to the company. We are nobody to Satyam. But we have come here to revive the company as a patriotic duty, because India's name, reputation is at stake. But you are what you are because of Satyam. You have grown along with Satyam in the last 15 years, 20 years. This is the time the company needs you. It is in a crisis. So give us a helping hand so that in few months we can turn it around and you can look back with a sense of satisfaction that you repaid your gratitude to the company instead of feeling guilty by deserting it now. So that worked wonders, and they took it up to their heart, and they promised and they assured. Attrition stopped and they gave their best. Similarly, for the customers, it is more of a personal rapport, building trust, which was lost on hearing the fraud. So we impressed upon all the customers to give us, to wait and watch. That's what we said. We never asked, please patronize Satyam forever. No, that was because it can be detrimental to them and they may not trust also. So all that we said was, we are confident of turning around Satyam. So wait and watch for a few weeks. If everything is going smoothly, then continue to patronize us. But if it is not in accordance with your expectations, please tell us. We will help you to migrate to an alternative service provider, competitive service provider. So here I want to tell the students one message. That is, always transparency helps. No hide and seek. No false promises. We said government is serious in turning around. and we are putting in all the effort to turn it around. So you just wait and watch. We don't want you to suffer beyond a point in time. If it is not according to your expectation, tell us, we'll help you to migrate you to alternative service provider. We went one step further. What we said was, suppose the competitor is not having the bandwidth to service your project, we will rebadge our employees to their payroll. You take the project along with the employees to another service provider, or we will rebadge our employees to your payroll so that project continuity is ensured. So this transparent talk, open talk, infused a sense of belief and trust in them. Therefore, they said, okay, we'll wait and watch, but subject to the condition, we'll have a follow-up call on a weekly basis. So we entertained those calls. And let me tell you, at every such call, after answering all their questions, I asked one question to all of them. The question was, how is the service delivery? How is the project delivery by the Satyam employees? You know what was the answer? The response from the customers were uniform. They said, before the scam, it was good. Now it is the best. Which implied that the employees have put their heart and soul in ensuring that the customer satisfaction is achieved. In a crisis situation, that is why I started, saying finance is one part, but human resources, working as a team to resurrect the company is very, very important, because that will rebuild the trust and faith in the customer. And slowly the customers, one by one, dropped off the request for a follow-up call. They said, we are happy, things are going smoothly. You attend to turn around. We don't want follow-up calls. We are happy with the project delivery. So that is the power of the, regeneration, implanted in the minds of the human resource workforce. So if the human resource is involved in the turning around, then nothing can stop them. What appears to be impossible can also be made possible. So all these three priorities: financial stability, human resources, motivation, customer retention, and patronization. So if these three things can be taken care of, I think the product delivery, the service delivery will have the best of quality, and customers will start making payments. In fact, we borrowed, in principle, we got sanction for 600 crores as the stopgap arrangement from two banks, 300 from Bank of Baroda, 300 from IDBI. We used it for 3 months. We borrowed it in the month of February. In the month of May, we repaid the entire amount. And most of the amount was lying in the bank account without actually getting used. We used only partly. So that is the power of, customers started paying. In some cases, customers started paying advance to support the revival, because once the trust was built, they were also becoming partners in turning around. So it's a kind of, stakeholders coming together to turn it around. And so when all this can happen, I think, and, in fact, what is important to be remembered by all of you is, see, as finance professionals, as chartered accountants, once you qualify, gone are the days when chartered accountants are only number crunching, they do only number crunching exercises. Today, chartered accountants can be strategic consultants, advisors. Chartered accountants can be decision makers. Again, gone are the days when chartered accountants move up to the role of a CFO at the most. Today, there are many chartered accountants who are CEOs at the helm of affairs in administration, managing the business of a company. And current scenario is many chartered accountants have additional qualifications, CA and MBA. CA and IAS. CA along with technological related expertise, and so all the CA with the law qualification. So in different walks of life, and there are in every field you can find now chartered accountants contributing. And even in the case of failed ventures, the latest law, I mean, what has been introduced in the dispute resolution mechanism also is NCLT, isn't it? So in NCLT also, resolution professionals, many chartered accountants are acting as resolution professionals, so that either the debt gets resolved or the ownership gets changed, so mitigated. So that is a scenario in which you're all pursuing this chartered accountancy course, and India is galloping to become a developed economy by 2047, 100th independence year. India will emerge as a developed economy. So 22 more years, and India is now the 5th largest GDP nation. And India's growth from right now, we are about 3.72 trillion economy. So we are expected to overtake Japan in 2027, overtake Germany in 2029, then become third largest GDP. And by 2047, we will become a developed economy competing with the US and China. So these three will be the powerful nations. And all that can happen only if the economy grows. And economy can grow only if the manufacturing entities, service delivering entities, agriculture, in all parameters, India's growth is translated into reality. And as finance professional, I think we will have a great opportunity to partner in nation development, partake in national development, participate in national development, be it in practice or in industry. There is enormous scope. So therefore, I'm happy SICASA has chosen these kinds of themes and enabling the students to think on divergent topics revolving around the business environment. And if a chartered accountant, I mean, today, in addition to auditing and assurance services, tax advisory, consultancy is emerging as a very, very prominent practice. Consultancy in terms of value addition services, restructuring of business, revival of business, mergers and acquisitions, wealth planning, wealth management. So all those things are within the ambit of consultancy arena of practice. So I thank SICASA for inviting me to address this session. And I'm confident that the students will get immensely benefited by the programs which are hosted and organized by the SICASA. And all the very best students in your endeavors, more particularly in the examination, because once you qualify, the whole world is awaiting your arrival to provide you ample opportunities. I hope to see all of you as my colleagues in the profession. God bless. All the best. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So, your book on the turnaround, 100 Tech Phoenix, 100 days turnaround. I hope all the students will read it. I think your sharing will encourage the students to read the book, take and read the book. So as a conclusion, I learned that the turnaround is not, financial restructuring or strategic management. It is also restoring faith of the financial institutions and creditors, restoration of the faith in the human resources, because human resources are still the unaccounted part of the, though human resource accounting has come in, they play a very valid role. And as well as customer confidence, which is the third pillar of faith. So I also understood from what you shared that honesty walks a big way, and walking the talk is very important. It also, you're sharing that a chartered accountant he has to multidimensionally grow these days with the changing needs of the business and competitive environment. And sir, to tell you very frankly, I have always admired you from a distance. And I understand today that chartered accountant, to achieve the persona you command, not only require financial acumen, mastery of governing laws, but deep sense of understanding, empathy, and people management, sir.
Very
so
true.
Thank you so much for being here and motivating the students. I stand inspired here, along with the students, sir. Thank you so much for your valuable time. And one request I have, if we can take a screenshot of all the participants going,
yes,
they can switch off the videos and we will go to the panel view. You can take a screenshot, and I think it will be a proud moment for all the participants here and students.
Yeah, that will be nice. And as they are getting ready for the shot, as you rightly mentioned, in that Tech Phoenix books under Satyam's 100 Days Turnaround, I've devoted one chapter on SWOT analysis. Maybe students can go through that, the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. So how to make use of the strengths, how to avoid the weaknesses, tampering the revival, and how to exploit the opportunities, and how to minimize the damage arising out of threats. This is the strategy I've explained there. Thank you.
Amazing, sir. Amazing, sir. So let us all take a snapshot. Can you move to the panel view, please? Since our host turn in panel view, so everybody is in a panel.
Can all of you turn on your video?
Yes, turn on your videos, everyone.
Yeah.
Vigneshwaran, Prakhula, Samartha.
Vigneshwaran and please share. Yeah. So who's taking the screenshot? The responsibility of the screenshot?
I'll take one.
Yeah. So we'll post nicely.
Yeah, smile, please. Yes, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
All the very best.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir.
Bye.
Okay, guys, now it's for you to take over. Who are the members present here? Vidyasagar, sir.
Ma'am, 1 minute, ma'am.
Before,
I thank all the branches, SICASA chairmen, and all the students who are participating here for your good participation in the upcoming events. I require your full support so that we can always require SICASA, your support. Since without the student, the SICASA cannot do anything. Please encourage your friends or young next generation youngsters who are coming from your cities to come up and participate in the activities of the SICASA so that we can build a good environment with all the students so that we can give better services or better opportunities in all the activities that we do at the SIRC level. Thank you for from your end. Thank you very much. Ma'am, you can go ahead.
So Vidyasagar, sir, I did not recognize that you were here. It was just written as Saga. Hello, sir. How are you?
Okay. Sagar, sir.
Vidyasagar, sir. Hi, sir. I didn't recognize it was you until you switched on the video. Hello, sir. And who else is there? The judges here?
Vidyasagar sir is present here. Raghav sir is yet to join, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So you guys can wait for that, or how do we go about it further?
He's currently watching live on YouTube, ma'am. He'll just join in 5 more minutes.
Okay. So you can pause the recording until then and restart the recording once the event starts. I'll be in the background. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you,
and wish you all the best. Thank you, Vidyasagar sir, for your time. Thank you so much.
So hi guys, hope all the team members are present here. I'll just tell you the team flow of the presentation. So starting with team 1, the participants are EV Vakula, Sriram, Pranav Raj and Surya Teja. All of you are present, right? You will be going first for the presentation.
Just one small thing I'd informed in the group as well. Our teammate Shriram is not keeping well, so he won't be there. Thus.
Okay, fine.
So it's only Surya, Pranav, and Vakula, just to reconfirm.
Fine. We are yet to start. You can present your screen once I tell about the other teams. Surya. Anyways, the next team, team 2 will be Vigneshwaran, Umayal, Abhinaya and Gautam Siddharth. Team 3 will be Krishna Devarsh, Sahitya, Sushmita and Sashini. Team 4 will be Samartha, Harsh, Arunachalam and Nitish. We can start once the other judge joins. We'll just pause for 5 minutes until then.
Shanta,
Yes.
before going forward, we have a query. Is there any alarming bell sort of system being placed here or?
Yes, I was about to say that once the the presentation starts,
Okay.
15 minutes, you will receive a message in the group chat box, and by 20 minutes, you will be force stopped. Yes, is that clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay. So, hi guys. We have both the judges present right now. We have Vidyasagar sir and we have Raghav sir. So both will be the judges for the day. And remember, I'll just recall you the rules. You have 20 minutes for a presentation. One of the team member can present while the others can share the screen while talking. And in the 20 minutes, you will have a message by 15 minutes in the chat box. Also, you will have a bell by 15 minutes. And by 20 minutes, you will be force stopped by me. Is everything clear? Any of you have any doubts?
Whilst out of the exception, can't it be like one person is going to present about the PPT on GM and the other person would present on Toshiba in between? Can we do that?
Yeah, take care that it don't take much time because everything is going to be part of your 20 minutes.
At most 10 to 15 seconds lag. Whatever we have to do it under 20 minutes. Two people can present, right, on various companies.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Make sure you have your presentations available in case if you're switching.
Yeah, sure.
Hope that is fine. And all the very best, guys. We can start with the team one. I'll turn on my timer. Sir, Vidyasagar sir, can we start? Yes, guys. All the very best. Your time starts now.
Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. General Motors declares bankruptcy. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Toshiba subsidiary declares bankruptcy. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges, and my dear friends. I'm Pranav Raj.
And I'm Bakula Evie.
And Surya Teja Savita.
And we are Team 1. Now, all of you heard the news, right? Today, we are gonna go for a deep dive into why these two companies failed and how they can revive. And of course, a bonus on the real industry analysis happening right now. So let's unravel the epic tales of two colossal titans of the industry whose journey is more like watching two heavyweight champions, but they're tripping over their untied shoelaces. Isn't that funny? Remind you, this is not any nitty-gritty of what went wrong, but it's also a doom and gloom story. It's not just one roller coaster going high, but it's also about the ups and downs throughout the journey. Let me begin with General Motors. Firstly, market shift. All of you imagine you're in a party and you're dancing. All of the others are flexing on this new dance move they learned, but you, as wicked and as a cool cat you think you are sticking on to the old dance moves. That's exactly General Motors. The whole world was dancing towards fuel efficiency and electric vehicles, but General Motors was still grooving to the gas guzzling beats of last year. Or of last year. Now, all of us know that finance is the blood and life for companies. As Sir even said, it's the oxygen that prevents the patient from collapsing. The financial management of any company is quintessential for its own. General Motors was that one friend whom all of us have who spends heavily on shopping, clothing, buying fancy accessories, but does not have enough money to pay their monthly PG rent. That's General Motors. High labor costs, high pension obligations. These were draining their resources drastically, and you can say that they were leading towards bankruptcy. Even leadership issues, decisions were like walking in a 2G when we are right now in a world of 5G. Third, oil surges. The current market trend of that time, the rising oil prices significantly impacted the company sales, leading to further increase their financial pressure. Now, all of you hit clutches of your car because we are shifting the gas to General to Toshiba. Now, Toshiba is this one clumsy guy tripping on every floor you see. For example, their accounting scandals, their aggressive targets, their corporate culture was so disastrous. Their aggressive targets was exactly like what Byju's was suffering right now. But let's dive one after other. Firstly, the accounting scandals. Imagine you're in this magic show and the magician pulls out a rabbit, while Toshiba was removing out this full of cooked books, which was showing inflated profits as highest proposal. Success was way different from what the glory is. Their books made sure their scandals come out clearly and their stock prices vanished down fully. Billions of dollars were erased in the market. Their company basically had no value. Now, even their competitive pressure, as we say, dynamicity is the king. Dynamic is the king. Innovation is the king. Sticking on to the game is not at all anything which the company ever focused on. They were playing catch up while Samsung and Intel went ahead to an extent where Toshiba couldn't even look at them. Their market share shrunk drastically. Diversification of challenges. They wanted to be everything to everyone. The consumer electronics, nuclear power, they all wanted to be the master of everything, but they all ended up just being jack of none. Their nuclear venture, the Westinghouse nuclear powerhouse, was such a big flavor. Let me talk to you all about the post Fukushima era. The appetite for the whole nuclear power just vanished and their whole business filed for a bankruptcy. Sorry for the noise. But yeah, talking about that era, their whole business filed for a bankruptcy. They spread their resources so thin, their operational was so inefficient, and poor financial management caused their whole company to collapse. Now, ladies and gentlemen, isn't this a lot related to what we are right now? Isn't this what the Toshiba's Westinghouse nuclear powerhouse collapsing, General Motors collapsing? Isn't there a solution for all of this? Of course, there's a solution, and my teammate now will carry on towards it. Over to Vakula.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Let us talk about what comes next. Because as far as we have talked about what has happened, it's time to talk about solutions. Starting with the technological giant that Toshiba was and what it would continue to become. So, we have three key strategies to revitalize, to reimagine Toshiba in its future glory, starting with product portfolio and optimization and enhanced operational efficiency, and then reinventing the brand itself. So, while talking about product portfolio optimization, it should be focus. The focus should be on core strengths of Toshiba, and key product growth areas must be identified. And only then the product line should be streamlined to just those for optimal resource allocation. This can be done by investing in emerging technology such as 5G, AI, Internet of Things, etc. And then we can also focus on sustainable growth, energy solutions, because that is the buzzword of today and the most important requirement of tomorrow. On the next part, we have to ensure uh, cost effectiveness, because as a sort of an ICU patient situation that Toshiba existing right now, costs must be effectively managed by streamlining operations, by simplifying its internal processes to remove redundancy, and then it could optimize supply chain and hence reduce costs in the future. And it can also optimize manufacturing by investing in technologies such as automation and robotic machinery and robotic plants for its production. And and while building customer relationship, it could reinvent the entire brand by uh, building a customer centric approach by focusing on customer relations, because customers happen to be the backbone of any and every product, every company. And on top of that, any strategic partnerships with different firms could help could help in progressing its growth in areas that it hasn't failed before and now can expand. And it could also envision targeted marketing. But for all of this, it could first start with its privatization, because by privatizing it, it removes the company from the scrutiny that is public market expectations. And without that in the equation, it can boldly take any decisions related to R&D and actually implement it for the future long run and growth. Next, let's talk about the car giant, that is GM. So we know GM as Chevrolet Spark as the the car that wings and all that. What happened and what is happening with GM right now is that its market share is declining, with prominent players in the market such as Tesla in the EV industry and Toyota in the fuel-based industry. And it's also lagging in technology to keep pace with the rapid evolution that is EV market and the autonomous driving technologies. The most latest update being that it has backed out of its robo taxi services, uh, fearing Google, and where it has fearing Google and other prominent players. So what can we do to bring back GM to its former glory and even better glory? In fact, it could we could aggressively invest in its EV portfolio and rapid expansion into its EV segment itself. This can be done by bringing in new cars into the EV or hybrid model, and also in the expansion of charging network solutions such as home charging solutions and smart grid integration. And then next would be sustainability. For any and every company, especially something as important as a motor or a automobile industry, sustainability happens to be an important part to look into. We, we could emphasize sustainability initiatives by including renewable energy and reducing carbon emissions and renewing batteries itself and improving the battery range and capacity. Because let's be frank, many customers still hesitate to get into EV vehicles, fearing the battery range and fearing how long can it go. As for long drives, a fuel car would go more than EV, but they still don't know where the charging stations are and how expensive would they be. So investing in such technologies could help in its growth. Further, it could also give back to the society by investing in a technology so that it can help to power homes during severe outages that can happen in many countries, even in our own country. And then brand revitalization is an important structure for GM itself, because we have known GM as the classic and nostalgic cars that have been existing since Back to the Future, the movie Back to the Future, etc. So what it can do is it can modernize its older version of cars, and by catering to newer audience such as us. And one such initiative that has already been taken by GM is the Cadillac Soleil concept that has been released in July 2024. What is different is that its interiors are made completely by using mushroom root fibers, such as known as the mycelium, and as opposed to leather based interiors. So this is vital because the world is changing and more focus is being shown towards veganizing and more environment friendly solutions. And one last thing which we could do to bring back GM is reimagining the nostalgic cars as luxury modern vehicles. By you can do this by bringing back the older cars, uh, such as the Chevrolet Bel Air, which was featured in Back to the Future. Many of us may have seen the movie, and cars such as Buick Rivera, which is featured in Inception, or even the most famous SUV sort of car, that is Chevrolet Tavera. We can bring back these cars by inculcating modern technology such as EV, and we can present a premium sub brand where we can relaunch these vehicles within the umbrella of GM itself, similar to what Nexa of Maruti Suzuki has been doing. So we'll see what other companies are doing, and what are the other technologies that are being, what are the other strategies being developed. Over to my friend Surya Teja.
Hello everyone. I hope my voice is clear. So let's just discuss more strategies in a simpler manner through which Toshiba and General Motors can re-engineer the process. So one, if we see every powerful company, every successful company has their own mottos. So suppose the Apple has always been following their motto, think different. And coming to Southwest Airlines, it always believed in low fares compared to all its competitors. In one of its lines, it states that we don't compete other airline companies, instead we compete the local buses. So that's their motto. And the same happens with Costco. They wanted to do the right thing at the right time. So all this have helped them to come to a successful position. In the same way, coming to Toshiba and General Motors, their motto always was towards innovation. So if we see Toshiba, it was also known as Japan's Edison. So it was one of the first inventors of color television or transistor radios. And coming to General Motors, it's one of the first company which started the electrical starting thing in the car, and one of the first solid rooftop cars. So we can just analyze from the history and facts that how these companies were so innovative with their thing. But however, with the time they lost their innovation. Furthermore, with different companies and strategies, we can try to analyze what strategies can be actually implemented. So the easiest thing we can do is to analyze the successful companies and the strategies which they actually implemented in their things. So Apple's focus on core products and innovation. When we check uh, uh, Apple, it doesn't get into too many areas, too many telephones. It focuses on one product and focuses to the next level and dives deeper into the layers. And that's how it has become the market captivator. So uh, if we see Steve Jobs, one of the important thing is also the top management policies. The top management was always clear about the company's goals and its execution, and that's the reason why Apple was very successful. In the same way, when General Motors and Toshiba could focus on top management and their policies, and there's good hierarchical system in the entity, they could actually succeed and have the greatest market share. Also, checking with Netflix. So Netflix, we all know, it was a DVD company, but ultimately today, if you see, it's number one OTT platform. You know how the transition happened from DVD to OTT? Back in the time, DVD was the thing, but however, due to marketal changes, everyone stopped using DVD. So what Netflix did, it immediately did the SWOT analysis, it analyzed the market, and it moved to the OTT platforms, which many people were using. And also, they were ready to redefine themselves. And at every point of time, they were analyzing the markets and trying to innovate. If you see the series and all of the productions from Netflix, it would be very much related to the current market trends and all. And Microsoft's cloud's first strategy. Microsoft was at a point of time, it was failing very drastically. But how did it come back? It was actively analyzing the market. It was actively analyzing that people were going to Apple and Linux rather than Microsoft's Windows. So in such a situation, what it very innovatively did is it moved to Azure cloud-based system. So it started providing cloud services, which was never part of it. This was because it was it actually accepted the risk of drastically changing according to the market forces, and that's how it actually was able to compete the market forces. In the same way, when Toshiba was being competed with Apple, when General Motors was being competed by Henry Ford and surging oil prices, they should have actually taken actions which could have made them better in the market. Nike's focus on brand storytelling. We all have heard about the shoes being sold for 6 lakhs, 7 lakhs, right? Did you ever think how people would be willing to spend so much of money on just shoes? It's because they were not just focusing on the product; they were also trying to focus on brand storytelling. They were trying to relate their brand with the people and customers. So through that process, they were very closely related. So in the same manner, Toshiba being innovation and General Motors focusing on innovation, they are very easily relatable to people. Everyone wants to relate themselves with companies which are very innovative. So in the same manner, they could have actually promoted their brands in such a way that they would be very easily what do we say, they relate with the customers and make sure the brand loyalty would be established. And Tesla, we all know Tesla doesn't stick in one area. It has its investment in different areas, like Tesla car, SpaceX space, and Hyperloop, the transporting system. But however, it constantly analyzes whether whether it's uh, efficient to invest in such platforms. It does optimize research and investment in those core areas. However, if you see Toshiba, it invested a lot of money into the, what do we say, the Westinghouse powerhouse, due to which so much of money was stuck, the finance was stuck. So it was not an optimum investment decision, which ultimately led to failure of the main holding company. However, Tesla did not do that. So investment strategies plays an important role, which Toshiba and General Motors can focus from right now. And one more thing, in in both the scenarios, if you see Toshiba and General Motors, there were certain unforeseen circumstances which the company had to face, like nuclear powerhouse blast, or in General Motors, oiling prices. So at all time, company need to be in understand the market situations and unforeseen circumstances. They should have kept their reserves in advance so as to tackle such situations. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So thank you, Team 1. That was a good kickstart. And your PPT was indeed a blast. And over to judges. Sir, you can post any questions if you have to the team, and any of you can answer, guys. Sir, your mic is on mute.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Lot of information. Lot of information. I just want to check with you. Are you giving a suggestion what to do for a particular company, or giving me example for some other companies?
Okay.
I'd like to answer this.
If you're talking about General Motors, what was the problem?
Okay, sir, I'd like to answer this. I'll just narrate the perspective we are in. Firstly, we put our heads and boots towards the mindset of a consultant. As a consultant, we were checking out what other companies have also done to overcome the solutions, and we also focused core on what is the Toshiba and General Motors solutions, and we are giving a comparative analysis.
Don't confuse two things. Only we'll talk about General Motors. What are the brands of General Motors? When did the decline take place? It was abrupt decline in sales, or over a period of time. If you're saying oil price is the thing, was oil price to this decline connection?
Yes, sir, I want to talk on that. So in the early 2000s, there was increase in the oil prices. However,
so that took the sales. Is there a drop? One. What are the brands they have? Which brands dropped? Who took over the sales?
There was a brand called Pond.
Who took over the sales? If somebody is taking over the sales, what was the advantage for them? So if you're saying you're going to build a brand, reinvent the brand, which brand are you going to reinvent? Are you going to get out of the car business, go into a motorcycle business? What was moving? What was the problem for GM Motors to go out of business? Is it oil price? Is it parking problem? Because of the size of those cars? Maintenance? What was the problem? That you should identify. Now, if you're talking about Toshiba, what products they had? Did all the products go out of business? So you should identify what products are going out of business. Is it to continue to go into that sector, or avoid that and go into some other sector? For example, if cars are going out of business, maybe you'll have to come with a three-wheeler, maybe a two-wheeler, if you have an opportunity to do it. And what is the money loss they had? With the kind of losses on their balance sheet, will they get new finance? From where are they going to get that finance? So you identify the problem, come up with solutions, and also what are your suggestions? So that has got a connectivity. So if you're talking about what others did, what way they are bothered, this is what you are supposed to do. If you're a start accountant, tomorrow going to an organization to make a presentation, how to revive their business, you should say, where are you? Where did you go wrong? What you should do? How to go there? How to go there is all involved. Everything is involved, including your money, your products, and focus and more like that. Okay. And don't do too many things. Talk about General Motors, top to end, finish, close. Start with Toshiba and finish, close. Don't bring these two together. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We also have Raghav, sir. Sir, do you have any questions to pose to the team?
Yes. I just have one question. Why do you think Toshiba failed? Just give me one answer.
Sir, may I answer this question?
Sure, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, we believe that Toshiba actually failed due to the market expectations, sir. So, since the market expected a lot of them, they had this idea to inflate their balance sheet, and they had this idea to have uh, mergers and partnerships with companies that they didn't have a good synergy with. They just wanted to surpass the market expectations, sir. And this was happening. I also had read a paper where the Toshiba incidents to its downfall was connected to the 2008 market crisis, economic crisis too, sir. So we sincerely believe that market expectations was one of the most primary factor why Toshiba failed, sir.
What is the amount of fraud is it?
Sir, as I did read the paper, but we do not seem to remember, sir. We'll get back to you.
$1.2 billion, sir. The
Sorry,
scandal
how much?
involved. $1.2 billion.
Where is that in your presentation?
Oh, we did not mention it, sir.
See, it's a good presentation. Okay, I don't want to discourage you guys, but the topic itself is why did these two companies fail, and what were the ways they could have been better, or what is the way to bring them up. Correct?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So that should be a central focal, right?
Yeah.
See, if Toshiba failed, one of the main reasons Toshiba failed because they did a fraud. They wanted to improve their books. They fudged their accounts. They overstated their profits. They got caught.
Yes.
That should be one of the main factors, right?
1 minute, Mr. Raghavan, sir.
Yes, sir.
Financial problem took place because drop in sales.
Correct, sir.
Why? So the focus should be on what sales products failed. Why it
Exactly,
failed?
sir. Exactly, sir.
That's it. If
See, the
financial problem has taken place, we can't do anything about it.
correct. So,
revive the company.
correct. So that should be how your thought process should develop. See, a fraud has happened. Why did the fraud happen?
Yeah.
So, what is the motivating factors for the fraud? Okay, their sales dropped. Why did their sales drop?
Yeah.
Take the top 10 product lines. What were the reasons for top 10 product lines difference? See, you comparing other companies is okay, but how did the other companies do better? Did Toshiba miss out, or where did Toshiba was lacking? That is what you should have brought about in the presentation for their thing.
Yeah. So
That's it from me.
where were they? What went wrong? What are your solutions? And what are your suggestions? And how to do that? Okay.
Good presentation, guys. But these keep these pointers in your mind, okay? Because see, you
We have lost Mr. Raghavan.
Sir? Raghav?
so is my voice audible?
Yeah, now it
Yes,
is.
now it is.
Yeah. So when you're giving a presentation to company, be very specific as possible, because general gyan anybody can give.
Exactly.
What makes us different from others is that we have to go very straight to the problem and have a bullseye view on what it is and how it is to be solved. We can go to the next team.
Shanta.
Yes, sir. Thank you, judges, for your valuable inputs. Hope that helped. And now it's time for the team 2 to present. Let me call up Vigneshwaran, Umayal, Akshaya, and Gautam Siddharth to present. The rules will be the same, 15 minutes. I'll give a message in the chat box, and by 20 minutes, I'll force stop. All the very best, guys. You can go on. Once the PPT is on the screen, like your screen is shared, I'll start the timer.
Hello everyone, hope I'm audible and visible. I now request Gautam to kindly share his screen.
Start the timer, right?
Yeah, thank you. So hello everyone, we are a group of consultants mainly focusing on reviving the Toshiba and General Motors. So as Mr. T.N. Manohar rightly said, we are actually at the ICU trying to revive the company. So let's get straight to the point and we'll talk straight about the problems, how Toshiba failed in tackling the problems that the environment posed, and how as strategy consultants and as a part of the management of Toshiba and General Motors, how are we supposed to bring Toshiba and General Motors right live into the action point of the business market. So I request Gautam to take over the problem statement of General Toshiba.
Hello guys, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, thank you. Sorry for the disturbance. Okay. So, sorry, the camera is just a little shaky up. I'll just adjust it. Next, let's start. Then, let's talk about the Toshiba. Toshiba, the roots originated in the late 18th centuries, when the son of a tortoise-shell craftsman began developing telegraphic equipment. The company has 74-year-old history with the Tokyo Stock Exchange, and even was the world's first mass market in a laptop in the 1985. Okay, the company was founded in 1939 as a merger of two Japanese companies, the Tokyo Electric and Shibura Engineering, the TO and Shiba. Okay, and the present situation analysis of the company. Like it's a bankruptcy, sad and sobering story of how once a great company can fall from a grace due to its own faults and failures. Toshiba's legacy and achievements not be forgotten. So we going to discuss like what are the faults and failures the company had, and even the revival too. So the next comes the problem of the company. So the first thing which I have considered as accounting scandals in the 2015, Toshiba discloses accounting malpractice across multiple divisions, involvement of top management. It overstated its pre-tax profit 1.2 billion over 7 years. And not only this, even they were in January 2020, further accounting irregularities in its whole-owned subsidiary, Toshiba, a whole-owned subsidiary named Toshiba IT Services Corporation. So these are the accounting scandals of the company. Second is the irregular management. Here, what happens? Irregular management, I meant that they were board resignations. Like CEO, after accounting scandal in 2015, Isaka has resigned. And in April 2021, Mokuchi Kurumati, he has also been resigned. After taking great decisions only, or any big faults been coming into light, they have been getting resigned. Again in the September 2020 also, in the postal voting form, there was another thing like in the management regarding in the AGMs, the activists have appointed some 5 directors, and they were devoted. And after a few months, what has come to light in the September 2020, the bank known as the Suyumoti Mitsubishi Trust have wrongly counted, and not only this, it's not only our company, all its clients' company votes were wrongly presented by that trust. So it's a regular management point because the management have to check out that too, and the company could not inability. Sorry, Toshiba struggled to pivot effectively in response to challenging the market dynamics, especially the customer preferences like our mobile devices, cloud computing, which have already been told by the first groups. And even the last thing which I say the company biggest thing was wrong decisions it took. Like one of its decisions regarding the Westinghouse electric acquisition. It was a risky and costly acquisition of buying it. It's a US power plant. But what happened? The company has that Westinghouse Electric Acquisition has filed Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which also led to the fall of the company. And even due to all this, one second. Vicky, volume the Vicky. And in December 2023, the whole company has ended its 70-year-old history as a listed company. And that's the thing. I'll just transfer this to the next team member, Mr. Umayala, to present it.
Yes, good evening all. So now coming to the part of revival of Toshiba. First of all, when the company is facing any failure, first they must analyze what is the reason for the failure. That's what we have seen now. And how much this problems has caused damage to the entity. That is also very important. To what extent? And then we have to see what are the resources and what are the ways that we have to come out of this problem. For this, first we need to do SWOT analysis, like what are the strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats an entity has. For this, first of all, coming to Toshiba, it did not understand the consumer preferences actually. So it competitors like Apple, Dell, everyone were coming up with new innovative products and technologies, and replacing and taking the market share of Toshiba. Actually, they are getting the customers. Like they understood the consumer preferences and the growth and changes in the business environment much better than Toshiba, because as we know, business environment is very dynamic, and understanding that dynamism, no, it makes the entity to survive in the market. Failure to it may cause many trouble. So understanding the consumer preferences is very important and produce according to it. So, and they should also concentrate on the core competencies. Like Toshiba was into electronic products and digital products, and it was also into social infra, and yeah, it was also into social infra. So suddenly Toshiba planned to invest in the nuclear plants, which is really very new and different to the products which Toshiba already deals. And it was also into accounting scandals. Around 1.59 billion amount was under the scandal over the past 7 years. So this was already happening, and it also planned to invest in the nuclear plants, which is not a very good strategic decision. So, as a management, we would say not investing in such a kind of completely different product and focusing on the core competencies. If the main basic product, the core competent product is lost, then the business will face a huge troublesome. So first they must become stronger in their own product, and then getting stabilized in that, they can shift to any other industries. But first they should be stabilized in their industry. So that is one of the problem. And they were not investing much properly, or their investments were not rightly done in the R&D. So research and development is very important. Through that they can also understand the need of the customers. Like first they have to understand the need, and then they have to go for the research. They have to identify, they have to link the research and the need, and then they need to produce the product. Then only it will attract the customers, because these are not a very normal goods. Like only cost reduction will not help them. They need innovation, they need product differentiation to get stabilized in the market. So for that, first after understanding preferences, they need to do the research, and then they have to make the products. So investing in research and development not only mean they should have an internal department, and acquiring other companies, like some startups, I can say, they will be very good in innovation. They may have spent a lot of time and they have put in a lot of effort in identifying many advancements. They know many innovative techniques, but they don't have proper funding or brand name to come out and establish themselves. So joining hands with them will help this company also, and it will also support the startups. So this will help in the economic growth also, as well as stabilizing the entity and its retaining its brand name in the market. Instead of ending the era, they can combine with small companies having good ideas and innovations, but no, they need a support brand name or something like that, and they can produce products which will help to revive from the from its failures. And stability, as already sir also said, stability of talented people is really important. We can see that in this era of failure there were many resignations from the top management of the company, and there were also change in CEOs. Yeah, change in CEO is okay, but retention of the talent is very important. The entity should have convinced and retained few talents, because they have traveled with this company throughout many years, and few members have also seen the scandals that has happened, because this scandal was happening for the past 7 years. So they would have watched that also, and they may know some solution, no, which can help the company to come out of this. And accepting the falls, retaining, being retained in the company and helping the company to come out of the failure is very important. So being transparent and accepting the flaws, and with ethics, if they move, and understanding, if they understand the consumer preference and adopt a proper research according to it and produce the product, surely they can revive better than they were in the past. And let me give to the next participant. Thank you.
Thank you, Maya. Now let me focus on how to get General Motors back into track, back into action. Yeah. As we all know, General Motors is an American multinational automotive manufacturing company. It's based out of Detroit. So the company is most known and famous for building successful brands like Chevrolet, Buick, and GMC, Cadillac, and each being a separate strategic business unit of GM. So by the total sales, it had the world record of 77 years of being the top manufacturer of automobile for 77 years before losing the top spot to Toyota in 2008. So let us analyze as to what happened exactly on 2008. So during 2008, as we all know, there were global financial crisis, and GM, as we shortly call for General Motors, was a company which particularly relied heavily on credit. And with the plummeting sales due to economic conditions, where people weren't able to purchase or afford a car, the sales were dropping down, and the fixed costs reliance on the interest costs and also the salary of the employees has made the company to decline on a fixed cost basis. So the sales were plummeting and the fixed costs were increasing, and the company did not have enough funds to pay for its own employees and costs. The next reason for its failure is the complete defocus. So basically, the company has failed to adapt to the market trends. So during the 1970s oil crisis and the rise of environmental awareness around the sustainable options and the renewable energy, so GM failed to quickly adapt to the growing demand for fuel efficient cars. So with the SWOT analysis in place, it failed to analyze the opportunities and the threats the company had at that point of time. So competitors like Toyota and Honda, they capitalized on this trend. They captured this market, the particular niche market, with more fuel efficient models like the different by producing different models of Toyota and Honda, while GM stuck to its larger vehicles, which were less popular at that time, and it was also growing obsolete. So due to this quick change in the trend to the environmentally sustainable vehicles, the shift in consumer preferences for a fuel efficient and environmentally friendly cars and electric vehicles and also hybrid vehicles that demand of the consumers weren't met by General Motors with that particular point of time due to its operational hindrances, the management hindrances, and so on and so forth. So this particular lack of innovation and identifying the hidden market or the niche market which was booming at that point of time due to lack of innovation had kept behind General Motors and it led it towards the bankruptcy. And another reason which I could talk about is the weak leadership. So, as I read in a news article, the former CEO Jeff Immelt has faced heavy criticism for poor acquisition of other non-core businesses in GM like Baker Hughes and Alstom, which was very different from the core operations of General Motors. So that particular poor acquisition decision and also the plummeting operational procedures inside the General Motors has led General Motors to the bankruptcy position and also out of the market. So right now I present the I present this presentation to Vignesh to present the solution as to what exactly to be done to solve all these particular problems that I just listed down. Over to you, Vignesh.
Let's look into the General Motors revival plan. So the major problems of General Motors were cash crunch due to higher fixed cost and decline in sales due to the obsolete product. So to address this, firstly, the crash crunch part, we have to to reduce the fixed cost. We can negotiate with the laborers, assure them that their bonus and the pensions will be given once the company revives. We have to give them the guarantee and make sure that they are working for the company and retain them. By this way, we can, for a temporary period, we can cut down the fixed cost and use that amount to invest in the research and innovation area. So for this, during the decline in sales, more market share went to the Toyota. What Toyota done different from General Motors were they were producing fuel efficient vehicles, whereas General Motors focused more on large vehicles and SUVs, which were becoming outdated. So with the help of well-equipped technicians, General Motors can actually build on innovation and try to give the product more customer specific to customer likings. This can be achieved by attracting the technicians, giving them ESOPs, making them as the General Motors employees, and work more on innovation. So this is what was mainly lacking to the General Motors, and producing and also customers' needs were not addressed properly by the General Motors. They were morely focused on producing the outdated vehicles. This can be how this can be done is General Motors can invest in electronic vehicles and fuel efficient vehicles. By this way, they can actually revive the company. Now, Abhinaya will conclude presentation.
To sum up, we see that the trend for Toshiba and General Motors is similar. The failure to capture the market trends, the poor investment decisions and divestment opportunities which the company has made in the past has taken a toll on the life of the company. And as consultants, we are supposed to take forward as to what exactly is to be done on behalf of the company by focusing on its core competencies, by focusing on its core products and the performance and the viability of the new business models and solutions that we are supposed to take to revive the company back into action. So thank you so much for the opportunity. On behalf of my team, I take the stage forward to the judges. Thank you.
You team. That was 1 minute early. Good. Over to you, sir. You can ask your questions to the team.
Abhinaya. Abhinaya, I just want to ask you, you were saying the fraud was taking place from 7 years. How did it missed? 7 years, nobody noticed it.
In Toshiba, you mean, sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this, in my opinion, I think that these small frauds are an accumulation of different minute adjustments in the books, which nobody would have noticed at that point of time. Say, a miscellaneous expense.
Okay.
Sorry?
Okay, you are saying about you need to look at the fixed cost. How are you going to reduce the fixed costs? The building is the same, the worker is there. Okay, you're going to pay them bonus, you're going to pay them commission at a later date. However, what is your solution to reduce the fixed cost?
So right now, sir, I don't have a right option or the right to say that I have to reduce the fixed costs.
Then if you're saying we have to reduce the cost, revive the market, first thing is that to increase the sales. How are you going to increase the sales?
I was coming up to that. So as
You're
we
saying
look
that's a
into
core
the product,
competency. Identify that core competency. What is GM Motors' core competency?
so GM Motors' core competencies are in the products, in the strategic business units of Chevrolet, Cadillac,
Oh, that is
GMC.
their brand. Those are their brands. If they had core competency, then they wouldn't have come to this level. So how are you going to reduce the fixed cost? Like Mr. Manoharan was saying, first thing is you should get commitment from the workers. You can't tell them I'll pay you bonus later. So how are you going to reduce the cost?
Sir, we have already considered that point. Sir, we are going to give the employees and shades, like differential voting shades, like already the Tata gives.
Your share worth is negative. Why do I need a share? Your shares. See, the problem is not that. The problem is what is your revival plan? How are you going to reduce the fixed cost?
General Motors
maybe I will shut down a factory. Maybe I do outsourcing. Maybe I'll focus on one brand. Maybe I'll
focus more on the automobile sector.
So that kind of suggestion should come. It cannot be vague that I will reduce my cost. If you're going to reduce the cost, how are you going to reduce the cost? If you're going to look at core competency, how do you identify that? Maybe I'll shut down 2 factories, sell them out, take the money, bring that and put it in another factory. And that factory I will revive with this brand, which has got fuel efficiency. Now I don't have fuel efficiency, then I will outsource the engine from somebody else. First thing in any organizations, you have to revive the sales. Only then people will believe you. If not, they will not believe you. Workers will not believe you. Solve problem. No, you're saying I will do SWOT analysis. What is the SWOT analysis you've done? Show that. SWOT, you don't say I have to do SWOT analysis, all those things. So you're going to waste time. SWOT analysis 1 to 3. This is the problem. This is my strength. This is where I will work on. Okay, specific work, Noma. Okay, ma? Thank you, ma.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for the
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Raghav, sir, do we have anything from your side to post to the team?
Yeah, a good presentation. I think very good, sir. Very good point, sir, pointed out. See, I think your presentation should be constructive as to what the company should have done. I feel that is where we as CAs are going to add significant value. See, a main difference what an MBA and a CA I see is an MBA might give you fancy presentations and give GAN, right? You will have to go to the core problem and try to solve how are you going to reconstruct the company or restructure the company. Like sir pointed out, there are several ways how you can reduce cost. See, in any company which is going for a loss, there are only 2 problems. Either revenue is not high or cost is very high. These are the only two problems. There's no other problem. So either you have to increase your revenue or decrease your cost. So your solution should be oriented on how do they increase the revenue or how do they decrease the cost. There is always a term called make versus outsource. What are the things you should make or what are the things you should outsource?
Yeah.
That should come out very importantly. See, for a company like GM, if their core competency is engines, they should make only engines and outsource everything else. You have to bring that as the core picture, because if you are putting a factory, okay, for each component of a car or a laptop, in case of Toshiba, there should be a separate factory required. There should be a separate line of materials required. That should come out as a solution you are giving. And this is more of, I see your presentations are more of facts which are already on the internet. You're trying to compile and give it. We as CS have to add value. How do we give a solution to get to the root of the problem? But very good presentation otherwise.
I'd like to add something, sir.
Yes, yes.
Sir, we are giving just an estimate, sir. Like, I wanted to say that we, the whole team, have a focus on the facts what we have. We do not have any practical experience like how the company will fall in and the turnaround strategies. So, like, my team, like, it's been just 3 days. Have completed a PPT and everything and the points in just an hour back. We have just formulated our whole points in just an hour back. So sorry for that.
No problem. I completely agree. Okay, see, very good effort. No. I would definitely appreciate for the efforts you're giving. Okay, you as students trying to come up in a stage where you giving a presentation in front of so much of audience is a very, very good thing. I really appreciate that. But see, I understand you don't have real world experience, but you can show whatever is coming into your mind as sensible output. It might not be right always, right?
Exactly.
Just your thought process. You might say that this factory should be closed. I want this to be outsourced. It might be wrong. It's fine. See, just understand one thing. Nobody in the world will appreciate your answer. Okay, you as chartered accountants, I strongly feel your approach is more important. How is your thought process developing? How are you structuring the problem into a solution? That is more important. And we are there to see that only. Your final answer might be wrong. It's fine.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
We are interested in your process. Whether it is going to yield results or not, it's different. So that shows your thinking process.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Because
no need to be sorry. Be sorry. Be sorry. It's okay. Go ahead. In life, sometimes we win and sometimes we learn. We don't lose. Learn.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
And you're making a presentation for a revival. Don't put black colors. Let it be more vibrant.
Like while I was presenting I was completely focused on the problem. I forgot about the revival. After that, I remembered that we have to put a revival.
That's the problem. When we go to when you go to an organization, we only look at for their mistakes. Find out what is your suggestions.
Yes, sir.
How to improve that.
Sir, I even had a time analysis, sir. As you remember, like I was presenting the 2015 to 2016, 17. I've completed clearly presented the whole thing. I'll just send my notes of it. How did I clearly put it everything? But I do not know how to put it in a PPT. Like
Sir, I am under assumption that you're coming out with suggestions to revive these organizations.
Yes, sir. Sorry, sir. Anything by mistake I have spoken?
No mistake. We are learning. Everybody is learning.
Thank you, sir. Okay, sir.
Thank you, sir. There's also a query from the team 1 in the chat box. I would like the judges to have a look at it once. And now, it's time for team 3's presentation. The team 3 members are Krishna Devarsh, Sahitya, Sushmita, and Sashini. All the best, guys. I'll start the timer once your presentation is on the screen.
Just a minute. I'm just trying to present.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, is it visible?
Yes, it is. So I'll start the timer. Good luck.
Sashini, where are you from?
Sir, I'm from Chennai.
Okay.
Respected judges, our fellow participants, event organizers, and especially the audience who are watching it live on YouTube. A very warm welcome to the presentation of Team 3. We team 3 have decided to be creative in presenting our topic, and we have decided the set of the stage is in a TV show format where we have a host and we have a business analyst accompanying the host, and they both will have a discussion on the failed venture, the reasons why it got failed, and the probable solutions to the venture, like how could they revive the venture. So the entire show is divided into 2 episodes. One episode is dedicated to each company. So I now request Saitya to start off the proceedings with the first episode.
Thank you, Devash. Hi, hello, adab, namaste, shashriyakal. Myself, More Venkata Sahitya, your navigator on this enlightening journey. You're watching ICAI TV, where we decode failures into formulas for success. Welcome back to the Business Blunder Show Season 4, Episode 10. The stage where every misstep in the business world becomes a lesson worth learning. Today, we are spotlighting one of the most striking tales of corporate mashups. That is the fall of Toshiba, which was once the synonym to the word innovation and success. But Toshiba's missteps and misalignments serve as a case study in what we should not do in a business. But folks, have you ever wondered what really went wrong? What can modern businesses learn from their collapse? And most importantly, how do we safeguard our organizations from similar pitfalls? Are you curious to unleash the answers to these questions? Hold your breath. Here comes our special guest, the renowned business analyst, Ms. Sushmita Sri, who brings her razor sharp insights and profound expertise to this table. Stay tuned and inspired. Hello, Ms. Sushmita.
Hello, Sahitya. It's indeed a great pleasure being part of The Business Blender Show.
We are very glad to have you today on our stage. First, let us start the conversation. Toshiba acquired Westinghouse Electric Company in 2006 in order to diversify into nuclear technology, ended up losing almost $6.3 billion, leading to one of its most important reasons to bankruptcy. Sushmita, how could Toshiba handle this chaos?
Yeah, there were many reasons for the failure of Toshiba, which led to bankruptcy. It includes a change in consumer preferences, market competition. All were the major reasons. One more major reason I would highlight is the investment in Westinghouse Electric Company. Now they have invested. They have decided to diversify. Who doesn't like to add a feather to the existing cap? So the Toshiba also decided to add this feather to their existing cap. So after investing, they couldn't revive or turn their tables around. So what I would suggest as a business analyst is they could have entered into a joint venture for this particular company. We know Maruti and Suzuki, they are a good combo, right? They are a perfect joint venture. So Westinghouse Electric Company could have entered into a joint venture to escape from the downfall. And I would also suggest that there were so many other good operating sources they had. Those resources can be bought into this company and they would have stopped this Westinghouse downfall. And I also like to add that the restructuring of dead and existing shareholders could also be an feasible option. If Toshiba could have recollected or analyzed all the strategy, maybe Westinghouse Electric Company is live now.
Agreed, Sushmita. Toshiba could have turned the tide with a joint venture, revenue lifelines, and a debt as an anchor, keeping control instead of drifting into chaos. And the next thing is, as per our survey, we have found that the Japanese have the tendency to not talk back to their superiors. Do you think that this attitude of Japanese workforce have been exploited by the top management of Toshiba, Sushmita?
Yes, it is very, very obvious. They did not have an opportunity to talk back to superiors, and superiors were not in a good position. What was lacking there is diversity in board of directors. There was no diversity at all. Every company would require diversity, no? Different opinion is required, right? And then one more important thing I would like to highlight is 2 out of 4 directors did not have finance knowledge at all. So how would they able to revive the company or answer the questions of shareholders as such? Then one more irritating stuff, what I came to know is the former CEO influence was still there. Instead, they already made a lot of scandal, all that. But don't we need to understand this? The former CEO is still here. it is not ethically right or morally right. So former CEO influence should have not been there. And also non-independent directors and independent directors should have frequent meetings to express their opinions. They did not have that. When they don't have an opportunity, not let their followers to talk back, and also they did not speak among themselves, then who else will showcase the scandal or any mistakes as such, no?
Sushmita, your points are very insightful. A diverse board of directors, independent advisors, and regular interaction between directors could have ensured stronger oversight and better decisions. I absolutely agree with that. And the next thing is the internal auditors were directly reporting to the company while the audit committee should have been reporting to the board of directors. Sushmita, do you think that this unjustifiable act was a bane to Toshiba?
Yeah, it was complete bane to Toshiba. They did not have a proper internal audit committee as such. So they should have actually taken opinion from IIA or any expert as such. This would have helped them to restructure in a proper format. And there was not a clear division of responsibility also between audit committee or nomination committee or any other department as such. It is clearly evident that Toshiba did not have a proper head to lead anything. They did not have a proper track of the format of who has to do what and what has to be done. Any structure was not mentioned. So I would say the clear division of authority in all committee is required.
Rightly said, Shushmita. Restructuring the audit function, classifying committee roles, and ensuring proper reporting to the audit committee could have helped audit rebuild the trust and prevent their downfall. I agree with that. The next thing is, do you think the role of minority shareholders could have turned the tables and reversed the decision of Toshiba to file the bankruptcy?
As T.N. Manoharan sir spoke few minutes back, he told all stakeholders of the company should take part in revival. So here, minority shareholders could have turned the tables. Any one decision or one strategy at the right time by one person could have turned the table. But this minority shareholders, though they had whistleblower policy, a proper corporate mechanism, they did not have voice, they did not have an opportunity to voice out. So what I would have suggested is this minority shareholders would have taken this issue to the public via media or any source. We know Satyam scam. Even today, if we hear about the scam, the next thing that strikes is Satyam. But the scam of Toshiba, is it there in our mind? No. I couldn't recollect Toshiba. I can hear only Satyam. So what I try to say is minority shareholders could have taken the issue to someone or a sound place where they are given an opinion despite law. The law is fine, the corporate governance is fine, the whistleblower policy is fine, but more than that, they would have done something. And what I personally feel, this law and the corporate mechanism and the way the company is structured, they should have given greater autonomy for the company to have access to all the information and to speak out. See, now we are able to conclude minority shareholders couldn't speak. The directors, they were involved in fraud. They were forced to involve in fraud because of so many issues, like they were not able to compete in the competition and so many wrong investments. Everything was there. Minority shareholders couldn't question. Board of directors couldn't question. Japanese had a practice of not talking back to the board of directors or anyone on higher note. So it was an entire collapse of Toshiba to fall into bankruptcy. So any direction, what I try to conclude is one strategy at the right time by one person in a proper way could have turned any of the table that is there.
What an insightful session today we had with Ms. Sushmita. Her key takeaways on enhancing analytical skills, building strong communication, and staying proactive in problem solving are invaluable lessons for all of us. It's clear coming together is the beginning, keeping together is a progress, and working together is a success. Toshiba's downfall wasn't just about financial loss. It was the failure of oversight, accountability, and courage to speak up. As aspiring chartered accountants, you have the power to prevent the crisis. Never underestimate the importance of your role as guardians of integrity and transparency. In the face of uncertainty, let your knowledge and businesses towards the ethical growth be high. And I always say, remember, the decisions can shape the future. Ensure they are rooted in responsibility and excellence. The next wave of corporate leaders will rise because of you. We'll be back with next episode with more insights and more fun-loving topics. I'll next hand over to Krishna Devash for the next episode.
What an enriching episode that we had on Toshiba. It was really great to hear that. We can conclude that like one bad decision can erase all the 99 good decisions that you take. Moving on to the 11th episode that we have on our show, the Business Blunder show, we have our special guest for the day. We have Shashini with us.
Hi Devash, it's glad that I'm here at the Business Blunder Show.
To all the audience out there, we all know that love is a concept. We've been in love at one in our life. However, if you look at the business scenario, it's a General Motors and India is a love story between a country and a company. It is a story to be remembered in the business context. Looking at the Indian automobile industry, the only two names that I get are Hyundai and Maruti, Shashini. And if you look at the numbers, they dominate well. 65% of the market share is theirs. And their product portfolio, their pricing strategy, and everything is. Whereas if you compare that with the General Motors, it is somewhat opposite to what they are doing. Do you really think that this was their major reason for their failure in India?
So I would agree it up to an extent. So if I say Hyundai or Maruti, people are well aware. But if I say General Motors, people are not very sure about what I'm talking. But if I say Chevrolet, then they know, oh, that is the company which is producing Chevrolet cars. So from my point of view, the Chevrolet trick worked out. So I think they should have tried imitating that same strategies into producing more different cars. Also, I think there should have been reverse engineering with respect to target costing, as in the Indian price is different to what is a global price. I think General Motors should have done reverse engineering with respect to costs, like target costing, which could help prioritize cost to attain a Indian price. But I think that is where General Motors lacked. Also, innovation and investment in technology was what the headquarters was, that is what they were following. But I think for India, it should have been replaced to innovation of product design and pricing strategies. That is a variety in prices and products rather than concentrating only on innovation and technology. Also, before entering the Indian market, I believe that General Motors should have done a lot of research and development in order to understand what are the product varieties and price ranges that Indians are wanting. So they should have thought of something from the Indian point of view, which I think they did not do.
So the concept is about Indian market. We have to delve into the larger scenario of the Indian competitive industry, especially the automobile.
Yes.
If you look at the automobile scenario in India, India is the second largest market in the world.
Yeah.
So any company that is entering into the Indian market should have understood what exactly the Indian consumers wanted. So I really think that the India specific thing had a huge impact on their loss.
Yes, I would say, as in, like I mentioned earlier, they should have had something India specific. So in India, most car buyers are one-time purchasers. Car is not something that is bought very often in India. So in that point of view, General Motors should have come up with an India-specific vision, mission, and growth and opportunities and everything, whereas they concentrated on global stuff. So why that did not happen is because India, the General Motors company, which was in India, was being controlled by the headquarters in US. So I think India, instead of being controlled by the headquarters, they could have made a strategic business unit here. If that had happened, then they could have designed or decided as in the clarity of direction, as in what is their target audience. Are they targeting on upper middle class, the middle class, or the rich? They would know what their target audience is, because that is what right now General Motors did not know. Also, they could have done a divisional segmenting into luxury and non-luxury products. Though General Motors have cars ranging from 3 lakhs to 30 lakhs, they did not really fit into the fact of either luxury cars or non-luxury cars. This is what affected that is why it was affected in the Indian market. Also, like you mentioned, India being one of the largest on automobile industry, I believe that the headquarters could have, when it lost, I think the headquarters uh, filed for bankruptcy in 2009 in US, after which it lost momentum in India. That should have been avoided.
So since the external market is covered, as you have said, the India specific thing is not there. Let's delve into the internal mechanism inside the country where the supply chain management was not at all doing really well, where they had 20 products, like 20 models launched in a single year, and 10 of them were withdrawn. And if you look at the network of the company, 400 of the dealers were there initially, and then it dropped down to 200, which is nearly 50%. So how do you look at this? What do you think could have been done?
So, if you see, like you mentioned, that they launched 20 different models and then withdrew 10, they had around 400, dealers, which reduced to 200. So this like very clearly shows that their supply chain management was a mess. They did not maintain good relationship with the suppliers also and with the customers also. Now, for example, we take Hyundai, within every 10 to 15-kilometer radius, you have a service center. But in case of General Motors, that was not it. And like I mentioned earlier, Indians are people who purchase cars only once mostly. So for them, after sale services is something that is very required. But that was what was missing, because it was very difficult to find a service center for General Motor cars in India. And coming to dealership, I believe that they did not really maintain a good one with dealers. So that could again be because of the cost effectiveness. They did not really understand Indian pricing. So I think General Motors should have focused on maintaining a proper relationship with dealers as well as after sales, after sales services. Maybe that they could have done by collecting customer feedbacks, maybe surveys, and all of this could be done frequently. Maybe that could have helped the decline in these numbers. Maybe that would have stopped this decline.
So to sum up the entire thing, you are talking about the leadership aspect of it, where the decision making was not at all right from the top.
Yes.
And also I've heard and I've read in some articles that Maruti had changed 5 CEOs in the last 35 years, whereas General Motors had 9 CEOs in just 21 years. So do you think this statement was enough to complete the entire thing?
So when this thing was there, so if you ask me, that it shows the clear instability in the top management. That is 9 CEOs in 21 years. So maybe what they could have done is, like in India, most companies, when employees are joining a company, they make them sign agreements, the work agreements, as to you have to work in the company for these many years. Maybe those kind of stringent rules can be, put for the CEO. And how they can be done, I believe the General Motors did not have a proper nomination committee, which they felt was not required. But in case of having 9 CEOs in 21 years, I think they should have established a proper nomination committee, and these people are experts and they would have come up with a better conclusion regarding the top management issue. Also, they could have made a decentralized decision making, as in, if we see from the CEO point of view, why we had 9 CEOs being resigned within a gap of 21 years, maybe they were having all the pressure on their head. But if there was decentralized decision making, then in that case everything would not be on their head, and they would have the freedom to discuss with the managements below, and it would have been in a much better way. The pressure on their heads would have been low, and I believe that 9 CEOs in 21 years would have been a different story. So I think a nomination committee and decentralized decision making could have really changed this thing.
So I think it was really good to talk to you, Shashini. To all the audience, that I would like to conclude is that it only takes one good decision to change the fortune of a person, be it a real or an artificial one. And it is never too late to take one. Signing off, Team 3. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Team 3. That was picture perfect timing. It was exactly 20 minutes. Now, sir, over to you, sir. If you have any questions, you can post it to the team. No questions from Vidyasagar, sir. Any questions from Raghav, sir?
Uh, See, overall, a good presentation.
Thank you, sir.
Extra efforts for Shashini to get the dress code right. I feel that definitely add a lot of credibility of what you're trying to do. I just have one question. Okay. So
Yes,
you were the which company do you mention had different multiple CEOs? Toshiba or GM?
sir, GM.
Why do you think so many CEOs were there? Or it
So,
got
so that is the thing. So I believe that when after a point of five CEOs changed, the issue became as in as soon as the CEO came, it was already a mess. The company was already in a mess. So they were in
don't you think
extreme.
the CEO would have known before taking that role?
So from the outside point of view, I don't think the exact view would have been there. I'm not telling that they took the role without knowing, but maybe they would have taken in the intention that they can change it. But when they came and when it came to the actuals, they also were making hasty decisions, which they thought would work out, which again, became a problem.
You
So
think 21 CEOs took hasty decisions?
Sir, 9 CEOs in 21 years.
How?
Probably yes, sir, because also they were not given the enough freedom. No, they were always under being controlled by the headquarters. So they were not having enough freedom to take the decisions.
Who is above the CEO of the company?
Sorry, sir.
See, they are the CEO, right?
Mhm.
Who is there above them?
So the board of directors and the headquarters, I believe.
Who? What is headquarters?
The headquarters, what is headquarters? As
So
in the
General
one.
Motors is basically a US based company. So the brain in the US was controlling the Indian SBU actually. So they wanted to implement the US, like the global policy in India as well, which didn't work out. And the Indian CEOs who tried to change this thing, like there was a mismatch in the ideology.
Okay, but the US also failed, right? How is that related to the answer? I am just trying to understand.
So in 2000 up to 2009, the US one was fine, but in 2009 they failed. After which only the momentum in India actually reduced. So there was a lot of instability because of the failure in US. That also could be the reason why 9 CEOs actually failed to stay.
So to add on to their point, there were not clear sense of direction, sir. If the sense of direction and plan is fixed, any CEO can take up the power.
See, I will give you 30 seconds time. Okay, you are the CEO of GM. Your team is taking over the CEO of GM now. What are the first five decisions you will take? You guys just discuss internally and let me know.
Okay, sir. Sir, over here itself.
Yeah, your wish.
So I think maybe the Indian price, they did not understand the Indian market, no? So I think we should come up with
No,
products.
look at the US company itself. See, the entire US company itself went bankrupt.
Yes, sir.
Okay. How will you change the entire GM group?
The entire gym. Okay, so most of the engines and spare parts that were used by the General Motors were old. Okay, so I think modernization of that should be one of the first decisions that we should take.
So an after sales service which other companies does. That is the important decision they should have taken. They didn't do that. Proper supply chain management.
And we should also find gaps in the Indian market. For example, mid-size SUVs were not at all a concept back then.
And maybe
That is where we can target the Indian market.
they should have opted for joint venture in companies where they were failing. Instead of being alone, maybe they can go into joint ventures.
And few cars which they like released were really doing great, so they can copy the strategy which was successful later.
Probably these are the decisions that we would take.
I think we done with 5 or
yeah, I think 5.
Market gaps, pricing, and we have innovation in the engines. So we have almost 5.
Sir,
for all of this, you need capital. Okay.
Yes, sir.
What will be your first thought process to get capital?
So General Motors has a good brand image. So I think we can use that for, so the credit worthiness of General Motors did not really get lost. So we can use
No,
that.
no. So I'll tell you the scenario. You've been in losses for a long time. No banks want to give you loans. None of the investors want to bail you out because the losses have become so huge that nobody wants to put their hands on the mud.
So based on previous thing, what they had, previous business connection, they can either opt for joint venture. Though they are into losses, certain companies after losses they have revived. So based on their brand name, they can go for public issue and try getting money from public. It's okay if they are in losses, but they have some brand name also.
So since we had gaps in the automobile market, like the mid-size SUV, we can pitch into a new investor saying that we found out this gap and we are going to create a new product, and the capital required to get this product to the market, we would do that, and rest all the public would take care of the capital.
Also, since we are already having stock of cars which is having old engines and old spare parts, maybe we can outsource for them alone, the old engines and spare parts. So now when we make the new cars, we can say that everything is new. So it's the modernized version.
Understood. I am done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Team 3. That was a good presentation and a good idea also. And now it's time for the last team of the day, Team 4. The Team 4 participants are Harsh Bhatt, Samartha, Arunachalam, and Nitish Raj. I'll start the timer once your presentation is on the screen, guys.
I'm sorry, Shanta. Suddenly my video is not working on. I'm unable to on the camera. Since then, can I join in another phone for speaking at least?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, thank you so much. Just a minute, please. I'm sorry for this inconvenience.
By the way, who's presenting in your team?
Yeah, I'm the one presenting. I'll share my screen. Just a second.
Shanta, this would be two people presenting. For GM, it would be Samatha, and for Toshiba, it would be me.
Yeah, okay. Ensure that you are switching your presentation smoothly.
Sure.
Sure.
Recording in progress. Mute one of the devices.
Is there a echo?
Yes. Kindly, reduce the volume in one of the device completely so that we'll not have any echo.
Okay.
I think we still have some echo issues.
Is it fine now?
Yeah, I think it's clear.
Yeah. Is the screen visible?
Yes, it is. So if you're ready to start, I'll start the timer.
Just a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah.
Hi, am I audible? Can we start in 5?
Yes.
Good evening. My name is Harsh. We are presentation team 4, and our presentation given chronologically would be first Samartha, then myself for General Motors, third Nitish, and fourth Arunachalan for Toshiba. We are turnaround strategist, and it's not over until we say it is. General Motors. It's not just an automaker, it's a legacy of innovation, resilience, and ambition. General Motors is the face of America. On the screen, what you can now see would be major events that had shaped General Motors as it is today. Our presentation is divided into three avenues: cost management and cost reduction, a strategic buyout, and employee benefit cost. Over to Samartha.
Let's get back to 1970-80s era, where GM was hit with its one of the largest losses of $763 million. When started inspecting systematic risk which affected the automobile industry was the oil crisis of 1973 and 1979. This raised an alarming position wherein it was difficult for them to adapt to fuel-efficient cars due to the unsystematic risk of push system process. Here's when Toyota rised high by introducing lean manufacturing and JIT production system, that is just in time. As on today, GM is still lagging behind the implementation of lean manufacturing. The following are the reasons. GM has a long history of traditional mass production systems, which are harder to transition to the lean practices. Second, GM's reliance of global suppliers without sufficient flexibility or diversification has made it vulnerable to disruptions, and there is a threat of a single supplier risk. Third, supply chain complexity of facilities which are typically designed to produce particular models for geographic markets. So here we are with our strategies. First is the PI cost, purchase input cost optimization of suppliers. And this can be attained by value stream mapping and 5 whys movement. So value stream mapping is a technique which involves flow charting the steps, activities, materials, flows, communication, and other process elements that are involved with a process or transformation. 5 whys is the developing practice of asking why 5 times and answering it each time to uncover the root cause of the problem. Like for example, why did the machine stop? Why was there an overload? And an efficient procurement strategy was needed, which aimed in the long-term partnerships with suppliers and which had an involvement of the suppliers to improve the process and the quality. And the third is a diversified portfolio of suppliers and not concentrating on a single supplier. Now, to reduce costs, they could have achieved a downsizing. So here we are currently with the 30 models. And if they would have reduced to the 15 models, which are one of the major products, they can have emerged as a cost ranging from 10 to 20% reduction. And majorly the fixed cost would have reduced for about 68% if they would have concentrated more on these 15 models. And the 15 models here, which we have considered, are mentioned, which have been into different segments like trucks and SUVs, electrical vehicles, and mid-size compacts. Though because of this 15 models decrease, there has been a reduction in the revenue as well by 10%, but the cost reduction is way more higher. When these 15 models are being considered for a shutdown, these are the 4 major plants which will remain underutilized. So here are the reasons we have considered that these 4 are the only major plants. First is shift of consumer preferences in that locality and in that area. Second is production of few vehicles can be shifted to a more efficient plant and it can also give a synergy benefit. Third is that the fixed cost of manufacturing are high at few places like Bupyeong plant in South Korea. So instead, they could have opted for another region like China for producing the same cars.
Since the 1955, General Motors' market share has slowly started reducing due to less fuel-efficient vehicles and quality issues over a period of time. Both can be viewed on the graphs on the screen where the market share is falling and the number of vehicle recalls are continuously increasing. The answer that Team 4 has for this is entering the Cadillac EV luxury market. GM does not have a well-functioning EV segment. There is a huge profitability space in luxury EV segment as no brand specifically focuses on filling these. Few cars in the next slide are the competitors who actually exist in the luxury EV segment, which nails us down to the fact that there are only 3 competitors. Having key differentiators like performance, luxury, autonomous, and being sustainability can help them in excelling. Luxury, autonomy are something which can never be compromised upon. A product expansion and launching mid-range SUVs and other products would also help them crucially, and setting up charging stations by Google. Now you can see on your screen would be a luxury finish for the interiors. These ensure that these can cater to multiple markets, as the European and the Chinese market always focus on sustainability and upon luxury. The next avenue would be the entry into the semiconductor space. After the hit of COVID, manufacturing throughout the globe stood at a standstill, causing to a fall by $110 billion of revenues across all automobile vehicles. The component of a semiconductor is pretty small. It is only around $300 to $500 per car, which requires around 1,000 to 2,000 chips. But however, the impact of this is so crucial, causing around $2 to $3 billion of loss in revenue. In the next slide, what you can see is a discounted cash flow model, which would explain how an acquisition can be timed in the right manner. The industry is continuously growing at the rate of 5%, having an operating margin of 15%. There is a weighted average cost of capital for 8%, meaning including both debt and equity. So an ideal purchase would be a company with having a revenue of $2 billion and at least an operating profit of 300 million. If you look at the formula on the second side, you would see that there is an operating level profit of around 100 million, which is a free cash flow. Multiplying this with the growth rate, when we look at the terminal value, the life prospects are around 3.5 billion, meaning that the present value would be only 1.9 billion for this purchase, and this would be an absolute buy. Moving to the next slide, what we can see here are different advantages such as raw material cost reduction, advantage scaling faster, R&D synergies, differentiation as the brand would completely stand separate, reduction in production of the chip, and additional revenue of $1 to $2 billion. In the next slide, what we can see would be that they would be market creators, which is only 20% throughout the whole industry. And this would be a turnaround, and this would be a completely new avenue, as 1 to 2 billion of additional revenue can also help them channelize their funds in a better way. The next strategy would be employee benefit cost. In the 2007, due to pension payments of 103 billion to the United Auto Workers, forced General Motors into a bank filing for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in 2009 due to the extreme cash outflow, which crippled the working capital. To ensure a flexible, dynamic workforce, they must ensure the proper automation and AI integration to reduce the recurring task. Actual workforce employed on the field would be based on contracts, and having a gig economy system to ensure flexible hours. The paid or the employee benefits would range from additional payoff times, wellness, and profit sharing. And also, they would also include a few components which can help reducing cost. In the next slide, we can see that every dollar spent, what are the cost savings that can be done for each and every avenue on the screen, from transportation assistance to early retirement. The defined contribution plan 401 is the future for any manufacturing industry to ensure pension plans smoothly. Over to Samartha.
Summarizing all the points, we have addressed to the heavy fixed costs by recommending a downsize strategy for not so popular car models. And addressing to the supplier complexity, we have recommended a PICOS and a procurement strategy. To evolve in the current era and adapt changes, we have provided a strategy to enter into the EV and the semiconductor space. And finally, addressing to the higher labor costs, the efficient retire benefit plans have been presented. Now over to the Toshiba.
So good evening, everyone. Now it's time to delve into the fascinating yet cautionary tale of Toshiba Corporation, a name that once resonated with cutting-edge technology and innovation, now struggling to regain its former glory. I'm Nitish Raj and my teammate Arunachalam. Join us to uncover what went wrong and what can be done to rebuild the brand. To start with, the world's largest dam ever built in China, fully functional in the year 2015, the Three Gorges Dam in China has reduced the regular Earth's rotation speed by 0.06 nanoseconds. Followed by Arunachalam.
Yes, Natish. If you could believe that, then you should equally believe that a company's downfall can dampen a country's economy as well. Isn't it so about Toshiba Corporation?
Indeed, Arunachalam. And that's about Toshiba's corporation. And let me relate it to you. In the year 2016, Toshiba's contribution to the country's GDP was 6% to the country's economy. Whereas in the year 2017, the GDP of Japan dropped by 1.47%, which is a significant drop. See the volatility and the impact Toshiba has. This downfall was due to very few events, and we are going to discuss further. Over to Arunachal.
How deep ever you bury a seed, it'll always find its way to sprout. In 2015, Toshiba faced a major scandal for overstating profits by $1.2 billion over 7 years. It was due to improper accounting practices such as booking future profits early and deferring losses were revealed. This was because the subordinates were too obedient, which was instilled in the Japanese culture that they cannot go against their top level executive members. And the top level executive members, being so self-desirous, only focused on self-growth and not on mutual growth. This scandal led to the resignation of then CEO Hisao Tanaka and two predecessors. Later on, an independent investigation highlighted a corporate culture that prioritized obedience, enabling these fraudulent practices. This scandal exposed significant issues in Toshiba's corporate governance and severely damaged its brand image. What about the precautions, Nitish?
Precautions. Yes. As a future chartered accountant, I would like to enumerate the following. Here you go. The management's integrity had costed them their reputation. The past has happened. Irrespective of the powers, even if we had to change it, we can't. We need to focus on the future for non-occurrence of these happenings in the future again. And I would suggest the following strategies. Number one, regular involvement of shareholders in the management by engaging an internal auditor who directly shall report to the shareholders by a said medium. By doing this, there's a check on the management and is assured that no discrepancies ever incur in the future. Number two, along with this, also a financial reporting committee and a whistleblower system shall be put in place whose reports are directly reviewed by the shareholders and those be discussed in the general meetings and appropriate actions could be taken. Is that all? No. What's next? The next comes the famous Westinghouse Electric bankruptcy and sale of assets. There's a saying, a house built on sand will never stand the test of time, meaning Toshiba's nuclear ambitions, like Westinghouse's costly missteps, were built on shaky foundations, leading to their eventual collapse. In the year 2017, Westinghouse Electric, Toshiba's US-based nuclear power subsidiary, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy due to high and over cost runs, delays in construction of required plans for operation, and mismanagement also played a significant role. In the newspaper clip of Economic Times dated 27th April 2017, the executive board member of Westinghouse Electric reported that there always used to be delays from the management side for approving the financials, the results of the corporation, which clearly states the management had a vague understanding about the nuclear industry and thus always had been ambiguous about the understanding of what it's doing. Due to this bankruptcy, Toshiba was pushed to a situation with an immediate $6 billion liabilities to be set off. The irresponsible management also had decided to sell off its core unit, Toshiba Memory, for an immediate financial distress relief. But you know what happened because of this action? Now they have to rely on the imports of memory chips for their products, which is increasing their operating costs. Toshiba also lost its long-term competitiveness because of this. Ultimately swindled the company's fortunes. Hope they had all the precautions.
Precaution seems interesting. There are always a few basics that anyone should follow, which they didn't follow. So basic precautions would be, in case of Toshiba's lack of thorough risk assessments and competency evaluations before entering sensitive industries led to inefficiencies and also significant losses. Why not? Not to mention, but regular monitoring, particularly on the consolidated reports on subsidiaries like Westinghouse Electric, could have allowed the company to better track deviations from budgets and respond proactively. And also, instead of selling Toshiba Memory, which was very valuable, the company should have divested its underperforming segments like
Toshiba licensing, Toshiba infra aids, which had a minimal revenue stream, thus preserving long-term competitiveness. But Toshiba went on to sell Toshiba memory because they thought losing one is better than losing many segment units. But is that enough? Just selling won't revive them, right? They should have focused on, or from now on, they should be focusing on home appliances, an industry that's experiencing significant growth due to rising disposable incomes. Home appliances is rising on a convenience demand and is also known for its energy efficient product trends, which would have allowed Toshiba to expand its product offerings. Vertical acquisition in this sector would boost their market position. Additionally, integrating Internet on Things over home appliances could have positioned Toshiba as an innovative leader because core competency of Toshiba is innovation and satisfying service to the customers, which could have created customer value and brand resilience. Lastly, Toshiba could have benefited from diversifying into high demand sectors like renewable energy and semiconductors. Because of its strong capitalization, as we all know, despite it being delisted now, the company could have seized growth opportunities in areas such as renewable energy aids and semiconductor infra aids. The strategy on focusing of profitable sectors and divesting underperforming ones is seen in the successful approaches of companies like Apple. Yes, indeed, the brand Apple has stopped production of its products like Super Beats earbuds to focus only on the mainstream of its products so that they could avoid losses. They shut factories and invested on iPhone series. And also not to forget, Toyota discontinued the variant Toyota Qualis to focus on launch of its Innova, which seems very successful right now.
Agreed. Post these, now Toshiba has been delisted in September 2023 and now is a privately held company. There has been a management restructuring and it's going well. It's proven that less people with high interest on the company can do it better than more people involved in the business for self-desired needs. Still, there are challenges going on and it would take time for the man to be back as the kingmaker, carrying the visions of its as founders.
Ultimate requirements that needed a management restructuring is because human resources employed at the top level are ultimate asset driving forces of the company. The reasons were in accounting scandal, there was lack of integrity. In Westinghouse bankruptcy, there is incompetency of the management. And in selling of core assets like Toshiba memory, there was incapability of foresighted vision. These were the ultimate strategies being discussed and proposed in order to revive Toshiba. Here we have a small Power BI dashboard, a snip being instilled over here, saying if they would have adapted our strategies of venturing into renewable energy sources and a semiconductor rather than getting into nuclear segments, their revenue would have been this much. And ultimately, their revenue would have been this much if they entered only into renewable sources. Despite this, there was an inflated revenue figure which sums up to $73,490.83 billion, which was completely a fake revenue booked till 2015. The sources is only till 2022 because on 2023 and 24, we are on the assumption that market has changed and there is no, the management has changed and there are no fraudulent activities involved. And yes, the numbers could speak. If everything was proper, as mentioned, 78.65% of dip in share prices could have been saved. That was a share price decrease when they got delisted. So this much amount of decline in shares and reputation could have been saved, and 20% of human assets could have been also saved. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, guys. Now it's time for the questions from judges. Sir, if you have any questions, we can post it to the team. Nothing from Vidyasagar sir. And Raghav sir, do we have any?
No, I am good. I think it's a very good presentation.
Okay, guys.
Thank you, sir.
So,
thank you so much, sir.
Sir, if you give us a moment, can we also show the Power BI which we have made, which depicts the years? Like, if you can give us a moment for that.
We would love that.
Arun?
Sure, sir. So this is the Power BI sample that we made, driven from complete assumptions. We are having a backing workings on this, but if everything was proper and right, this would have been the result of the company. Given that we suggested two strategies saying that they should tap into renewable energies and semiconductors, if they would have done that till 2022, their profit would have been this much, $73,350 billion. Or if only renewable energy sources, their profit would have been $73,340 billion. As we can see here, there is a meager line of difference between the profits reported by Toshiba and the profits the profits that they could have got if everything was accurate. So this I need everybody's attention here, saying that the difference is only a markup of the inflation value. Every time there was a heavy expectation on them, so they wanted to show over and above the inflation, and that is the only difference underlying as per as how much we researched. And this is all the real value they showed, and our suggested values, how much the profits would have been year on year. So for let us say during 2008, their actual amounts, if they ventured into our strategies, should have been this much, but actually it was a higher amount. And here during 2008, the profits they showed, the inflated amount was $86 billion according to our estimates. And it's an entirely estimated view backed by few of our assumptions. So what we suggested is what the value they should have shown according to inflation was $86 billion less, but in 2008, they have showed $86 billion more. And also we have made a few analysis saying that year on year, they have been inflating a profit on an average of 418.5 million, because from 2015 it stopped, but the management continued to exist. So still there was a manipulation in that. It was ultimately shown in 2021 that they were manipulating the share votings also during general meetings. On that assumption, I went on till 2022. And if they would have taken renewable energies and they would have been transparent in reporting, their price would have been around $418.4 million more than what they actually showed, if everything went right and the leadership was very integral.
Nice.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
That was great, guys. Thank you for sharing it. And thank you, judges. I request you to share your copy of mark sheets with me. Now it's time to thank all the good hearts who made this event a success. I would like to first thank both the judges of the day, Mr. Vidyasagar sir and Mr. Raghav sir. It was an amazing experience to take insights from you after each presentation, sir. Thank you. Thank you for all the participants and all your branches for supporting you. All of you are here as the top 16, and you all know that we started as 60 plus participants. You all are already winners, pat your backs. And my heartfelt thanks to the mentors of each team, CA Karthik Manikonda sir, CA Venkat Ramanan sir, CA Amit Kumar sir, and CA Anish sir, for their constant support to the team, irrespective of their busy schedules. And I would like to thank all the branches who are in collaboration with the Chennai SICASA. And last but never the least, I would like to thank our beloved SARC Dean, CA Vijay Lakshmi ma'am, and our chairman, CA Mandava Sunil Kumar sir, and my managing committee team, and a special mention to Vice Chairman Rahul and Treasurer Ronak for always having my back. So it's time for the winners. I already have your prize in my hand. So I think, will 10 minutes be fine for you to sum up the results, sir? By that time, I'll keep these participants held until you sum up the scores.
Sure.
Yes, sir. So until then, it was an amazing experience, guys, to work with all of you. And, each team had its own set of issues and to handle each of that. And finally, you're all here. Yes, we did the presentation. It was amazing from each of you. So
yeah, Durga, thank you on our part. We called you in the midnight. One day I called you at 10 p.m. I was I didn't want to do, but I was forced to do. So sorry for disturbing, and thanks for all the coordination that you did.
Yes, so now it's time for hear from each of you. Yes, it's a feedback time. So each of you from each team, or however you wish, you can tell us how your experience was. How was it to, collaborate with people from different branches? Because I think every team had a set of people from different branches.
Yes, actually branches were different, so nobody was able to speak in mother tongue. So our language discussion was like completely restricted to English. Yeah, we, as you mentioned, we had a lot of chaos to handle, and it was actually an overall good experience.
Anybody else want to add up?
I would like to specially mention my team. We had a roller coaster ride. From the start, our team had a lot of issues facing, but finally we did it. And I feel very much proud of my team. And also, this is the first time I am coming into such competition. Like the way we have to think, the way we have to do, I've never been. And my teammates, like, I felt so amazing that they were able to, explain, they were able to communicate what is it. And I mean, it's a great thing that I got this team. Thank you so much, guys.
Adding on to Samartha, since we're in the same team, indeed it was such a crazy roller coaster because in the beginning, I think one of the highlights was the fact that we didn't have a mentor for so long. And without that, we were still able to pull this off. So I guess, I really want to apologize to Shanta here actually. I think for a lot of days, whenever I opened my phone, the recent call would always be Shanta. Always following up on something or the other, like, do we have a new mentor, or maybe, we take help from the existing mentors and what not. So it was really scary, but I guess in the end it all worked out so well. And I guess it was an amazing management by you guys specifically, because everything went smoothly. End of the day, we got the right guidance and we were able to pull this off. Yeah, thank you guys.
I just wanted to tell something that our team was a chaos from the starting. We did have a lot of issues, and I'll tell you at 5:05 we confirmed everything, and 5:15 we were here, and I even called Shanta at 3:40. She's like, "This is too last minute," but still, it was so nice of her to not lose her cool. I mean, it was so nice of her to be so calm and reply, and I think that's what a coordinator needs to be. And I think Shanta was everything of that. And yeah, even we did have calls in on time and everything. She was so nicely, giving us what to do and what not to do without hurting our sentiments and everything. And it was overall a very nice experience, with the CA community, with different people from different places. So I was able to connect, and I learned a lot about how people are around, and I was able to relate also because I usually don't find a lot of CAs around here. So it was very nice for me to know how people are out there, if they're struggling the same way I did. And they also gave me lessons of to how to do next time. You do like this, it'll be better. All that valuable advice. So thanks team for valuable advices, and I have learned a lot from you guys. And thank you SICASA for giving us the opportunity to be a part of a very nice event of this sort.
Thank you, guys. So I think many of you, and it's time for the results. We can hear it from the judges. Over to you, sir.
First of all, fantastic job, all the four teams. Okay, because when I was a student, it was very hard for me to come up and talk and in front of an audience to experiment. Because see, there'll always be people to say you are wrong and you're going the wrong way, right? And we don't even know whether we're going the right direction or what. See, we're always afraid of the failure. I feel you're already all are winners to take the first step to try and come and present in a stage, knowing no matter what it can do. So first of all, kudos to you all. And I think all the teams genuinely did a good effort. See, I would before announcing the winner, I will try to take 2 seconds to mention about each team. The first team, your presentation was very, very good. Your the way you did your PPT and your deck and the speakers also, the way in which you present this was very good, but I feel data was lacking on your side. If you could have figured out a way to get the data right, you would have definitely won. Second team also very similar. Your data is where, or the approach is where maybe you guys thought of a different approach. Maybe that is where you were lacking. But other than that, very, very good efforts. Third team, and fourth team. Okay, I'll tell you there was a tie between third team and fourth team, and we were deciding who should be the winners. And third team, I'll give you a special mention because I purposely asked a lot of questions to just see how do you guys react. It was more of a stress test because see, I'll tell you one thing in life. Okay, don't be too worried on the final answer or the approach. Final answer. Be focused on the approach and your thought process. There's a concept called structured thinking. I would want you all to practice structured thinking on a daily basis because only when you are applying structured thinking in your daily life, you will start seeing things in a different way. Whenever there's a problem thrown at you, it doesn't matter if you know the answer or not. If you have the structured thought process right, you can arrive at the answer very easily and very fast way. Okay, so third team, I'll give a special mention for that. And you guys know the winners are team 4, and you guys did a very phenomenal job. The way you presented the data and the amount of facts you got in right, which impressed both the judges, and it was like it was not even a discussion. We both decided unanimously that team 4 should be the winner, and team third came second.
Thank you so much, sir.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. It is a great milestone in our CA journey.
Yeah.
Thank you so much again.
So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Initially, we had questions like, many of you called me and asked, you're giving the same topic for all the 4 teams. What if they also come up with the same strategy like I do? And then today we saw how each team came up with different ideas to present. We had one going as an interview, the other going half-half. It was all uniquely different. This is what I intended at the first, and then that's how it happened also. And congratulations to Team 4. I'll send you your winning vouchers to each of you separately. And yeah, it was a great experience. Thank you, guys. It was wonderful working with you all.
Before leaving, in an order to mention,
Yeah.
it was actually everybody spoke saying that the experiences were great, but then also one of our team member Nitish, it was a last minute toll for him to roll into our team, suddenly get in, and then he did a phenomenal job. He has to stay late up. For everyone who doesn't know, he met up with an accident, and him giving us this full efforts in the last minute was really wonderful. And also Mr. Anish, our mentor, not to say he was really a great support. Like anytime we went, he was out there for us. Every time he gave us constructive feedbacks, he was back over us. Even like till 4:50, till then he was there to hook us up and say, "This is what is going to happen. This will be the way. You guys have done a great job." How it is to be done. Every feedback of him really worked. And given that all of us, working in Big Fours, we had even work yesterday. We had to go to office yesterday. Me, Harsh, Samartha, everybody were in office. Samartha had some new challenges. She was to be in the hospital. Everything. Given that we had untimely calls, we were like late till 2:30, 3 a.m. in the morning for this, especially in the last 2 days. Nitish knows very well. So this team was really great. And I would also like to give a mention to Harsh. He opened his minds. He was thinking everywhere. What are the possible outcomes? What could be there? And this was really a great team to work with. Yeah, and especially the mentor I had to mention. I thought he would be here. Mentors would be here, but yes, thanks to everyone who organized this. And SICASA, as we know, volunteering at SICASA, we know how it is. It'll be like while giving advices, yeah, okay, yes, but later on we feel at the behind. Innada, ipdi irukku. So yeah, everything was great. So thank you for a wonderful coordination and the judges as well. Thanks for nominating us. And this was indeed a great experience. Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Arun. So yeah, guys, congratulations to the winners and all the other participants. Hope to work with you all again and again in many more events. Thank you. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Sure. See you offline. See you offline at Chennai.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Bye. Have a good night.